When I got my first job as a web developer, I got super lucky and didn't have to have any kind of technical interview. But the reality is you more than likely will have some sort of technical interview during your job search process. I recently had a technical interview that resulted in them sending me a coding challenge after the call, and I want to share what happened and what it made me realize about myself and my own insecurities in hopes that it'll help you too. What's up guys, it's Jess, and as I mentioned, I recently had a technical interview that completely threw me for a loop, but it did give me some insight on how I am as a person. Now to give you some background, I usually do have a complex when it comes to test taking and proving my knowledge on something. I can study for days or weeks or even longer, and I will still freeze up when it comes time to take the test or to talk about what I've learned. I don't know why that is, but my mind just starts racing, and then sometimes the information just completely escapes me. Leading up to this interview, literally the day of, moments before, I had the worst anxiety. I was literally sitting here doing breathing exercises. My heart was racing. I had an adrenaline spike, so after the call I had the crash and my head just was throbbing for the rest of the day. And having this experience really made me realize a few things about myself, so I really want to share those with you today. So let's just hop right into it. Number one, confidence is key. I feel like when you're having a technical interview or any kind of interview or situation that is out of the norm from what you're used to, you need to remember that having confidence could be half the battle. I realized that during the process, the interviewer would ask me a question and I would answer it, but end it with, I believe, or I think, or if I'm not mistaken. And that presentation of being unsure could weigh heavily on how the interviewer perceives you as a person. As a programmer, you need to be confident in your approach and your decision making when you are creating a solution to a problem that you're presented. And as a developer or engineer, that's really your whole job, is to create solutions for a problem. I realized that the interviewer really just wanted to pick my brain and see my approach and decision making skills when it came to finding solutions to the problem. So be sure in yourself, and if you don't know the answer to a question, maybe answer it with a, I've never gotten this question before, but I'll be sure to figure out the answer, or this is something new to me, but if this is any insight on what we're going to be working on for the company, I'm super excited about it and I'm super eager to learn more about this topic. Don't be like me, don't freeze up or freak out. The second thing I learned or confirmed is that I am an overthinker. Now, me being an overthinker is not anything new to me. I've always known this, but I did get to see this play out in real time. I'm the type of person who overthinks things so much that sometimes it causes me to not even act on situations. For example, after my call, I was sent over a coding challenge. Now, this should have been a good flag because to me this indicates, okay, we're taking another step towards the goal of getting a job. But instead, I kept replaying all of the bad things that I felt I did on the technical interview call instead of just chugging away and having tunnel vision. I had a adrenaline crash, so my head was hurting. I started crying, I was panicking, and I just wasn't focused. And so I started to overthink. I was overthinking the experience on the phone. I was overthinking whether or not I would be able to perform on the coding challenge. And so it just did not get me off to a good start with that situation as a whole. Now, looking back at this coding challenge, it was actually pretty simple. However, because I had already mounted on all of this anxiety and all of these negative thoughts, I had already created a tunnel of self-doubt within myself, so there was no way that I was going to be able to confidently execute a solution to the problem that they gave me. So instead of looking at the situation for what it was and actually paying attention to what the coding challenge was asking me to do, I was replaying everything in my head that had just happened, and I wasn't able to break down that challenge in the proper steps to properly execute it in a timely manner. So this is what happens to me. When I overthink, I tend to shut down. I tend to overanalyze the situation, and I would literally just sit there and not do anything at all because I've thought about it too much. So I'm embarrassed to say that I actually sat here once I got the coding challenge at this computer right here at this screen and stared for 30 minutes straight, just trying to figure out what it was asking me to do. I was reading and rereading the problem, and it really wasn't that serious. It's just that my brain had already, it was like a computer, it was overheating. So instead, I should have just walked away, showed myself some grace, and said, okay, this is what we have now. You're in a step in the right direction. Let's regroup, let's refocus, and let's tackle this challenge. The last thing I learned, and maybe even the most important thing that I learned out of all of this, is that every interview experience you have is only going to make you stronger and more prepared for the next one. So not only did the situation teach me to have as much confidence as I can so that I can show who I truly am as a person and to not overthink things, it also taught me to treat every situation as a learning experience. So take those questions that you get on your interviews that you maybe didn't know the answers to or weren't that confident in the answers that you did have, write them down in a journal or however you keep track of things, and revisit them, do more research, learn more about those topics, and also start to just journal about your experiences in general. Maybe keep note of the questions that you were asked, even if you did know them, because you may start to see a pattern of questions that are similar at all these different companies or even exactly the same. So just keep track, keep a notebook, keep some type of database of things so that you can be more prepared every single time. Also, finding answers to these questions will make you a better programmer because you'll get practice researching solutions when it comes to coding. And we've all seen the memes when it comes to being a good developer means that you are a good Googler, but that is really a real thing. It may even be a good idea to make notes after the interview to analyze how you were feeling. Were you a nervous wreck like me, or were you super confident and maybe needed to stay on topic a little bit better? Really look at where you can improve so that you can make an effort to do better the next time. In conclusion, don't let your first, second, third, or 30th interview keep you from continuing your coding journey. Instead, know when it's time to switch things up or when it's okay to keep things the same, and always keep the mindset that this is a learning experience, so take those things that you've learned and apply them accordingly. You literally never know when your yes is coming, so don't let yourself be the reason why you don't achieve your goals. I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so very much for watching, and I really hope that this helped you on your journey. If it did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'd be interested to know what your experiences have been on your technical interviews or with coding challenges. You never know how it could help someone else, so please be sure to leave it in my comments, and I will see you in the next one.